Good afternoon, evening. This is Toxic Crypto coming to you live from Virginia, USA. And we got it, guys. We got it. We got somewhat of a bounce. Everyone has been waiting for this impotent little jump up down from the algo buy target box that we did earlier this week. Look at that. Dipped right in, bought it up. The buy pressure, they dropped down another bear flag we were looking at earlier, and right at the end of the day they hit it down. At least this is GDAX BTC. They couldn't get it below 7,000. I'm sure in some other exchanges I wasn't looking at, they may have been able to get it down 7,000, maybe. Something I was looking at, I was actually talking to one of my friends about, was when the buy volume actually came in. The buy volume started to come in around 7 a.m., 7 a.m. Eastern time in the States, so New York time. That leads me to believe that it was U.S. investors. Okay, we've seen some other moves in crypto in the BTC volume market that have started in the 3 a.m. hour. And although there was a little bit of time there, a little bit of volume there, that to me tells me that's Asia buying, and that is Europe buying. Okay, 3 a.m. Now, it's the same thing you could say that I saw in stocks and equities, like 9 p.m., 3 a.m. Those are two key times for Asia and European investors. All right, just think of the time zones. Okay, 3 a.m. our time is 9 a.m. in Europe. 3 a.m. your Eastern time is 9 a.m. like English time. Forget daylight savings time. Just think of it that way, okay? And then look on the other side of the world with Asia, that lines up. So you see some movements in futures during that time, and also we have seen some movements in BTC previously around the 9 o'clock hour, 8 to 9 o'clock hour. And in fact, I remember going back months, there's been some front running up into that volume when the Asian investors come in, whether they buy or sell. So I would take note of this, that it looks like to me, in my opinion, again, I haven't, this is purely my opinion. I can't back it up with anything factual. I believe this to be European investors. U.S. investors that actually came in and bought this, and then everyone else probably followed suit. Along with the volume, though, I'll take some of these lines out. By the way, happy Tuesday. I hope everyone had a wonderful Tuesday back at work. I know I had a great day today, a rainy day. Let's see here. Any trader worth their muster was watching this trend line, okay? We tried to rally up on the 27th, okay? What was that, Sunday? Right at the end of the day, and then midnight, we got shot down on heavy volume, okay? Heavy volume. And I'll get this box out of the way so you can see. That's take notice. We're still not done yet, right? We got rejected. We made another low, okay? And then we held that, we bear flagged again, and then yesterday, right at the end of the day, we got some more volume come in, and they even got this spike down here at 750-ish area. It came right back up very quickly, held, and we started getting movement a little bit at 3 a.m., and then it really didn't come until, as I said, I think the U.S. investors came in. So, yes, I think it was US, but also I think it was technical and algos, because we actually got a bullish buy target and we got volume. Now, guys, I mean, we were way oversold. We've been oversold. We've been in a downtrend for 4 weeks. You're going to see something like this. Now, is this the start of something, or what is this exactly? When you back the chart out, doesn't look like a whole lot. Or does it? It doesn't look like a whole lot, or does it? This it pretty much bounced. I mean, this is a cocktail napkin technical line that I drew that anyone could draw, that everyone was watching. We did a video on this. Everyone's watching that line. It pretty much bounced to the tick off of that trend line, okay? We got a bounce off of it. We got a buy signal off of that after that volume sell-off that lasted a day with decent volume, mind you, and that was a 400 or 500 point move. And now these are 4-hour bars. We're getting 16 hours up. That's pretty decent. But we expected something like that. We also just got a MACD bullish cross on the 4-hour, which we've been waiting for. And now the thing to keep in mind here is we're not out of the woods yet. Yeah, that was awesome and everything looks amazing in the world, but we are still in this channel, okay? That goes back 6 days. We're coming up, we're finding resistance into it like we have in the last several days, okay? Our stochastics are now way up in the buy zone. Our RSI is no longer oversold on the 4-hour. It's actually right in the middle. It's even above neutral. So, in other words, the bears have been able to blow off the oversold RSI. And just be careful. I think a lot of people have been waiting to buy, and we just got, I mean, that really was the first buy signal. This dip down, we couldn't break 7,000. We reversed, we broke above this little channel. We got some good volume. And guys, I mean, if we look at what happened today, we got this volume and we stayed higher. I saw this volume when I woke up, and I was like, wow, it's a great time to be alive, man. And whenever crypto goes up, it feels great. Whenever crypto goes down, it feels like, you know, something inside of your body is just eating you alive. It's tough. It's tough. Unless you're short, then more power to you. But today it looks like the shorts got blown out. So a very easy technical trade. If you were up this morning and you saw this setup, a very easy long entry, okay? If you were a trader and you made this trade and you got in at 71.35 in Bitcoin to 71.60, maybe you got in there. At this point, you're long. Depending on your time frame, maybe you took 25% on your trade off here. If you were more of a swing trader, you were looking for this type of entry, this would be your first entry right here, in my opinion, and you would not get out of your position. Your stop loss would definitely be down here, okay? I would say you would give it at least to the low it was, 70, 78, 760. But ultimately, I mean, I would say I would even give it a 6,900 just to give you a little bit of cushion. You probably should have took some of it off and then you're holding. Because, guys, we're still in this wedge. Jeez. Sorry about that. We're still in this wedge. What's going on? I have a lot of buttons on my mouse, and it just freaked out on me. And yes, we got volume. Yes, we had that technical breakout. Yes, we had 7,000. Yes, we held a long-term macro uptrend. All amazing things. It still has a lot to prove. We still have a lot of downward velocity that we have to slow down. And that's not just going to happen on one day. It's going to take several days. In fact, it's probably going to take all week. And we need to hold this. And if we get resistance up here, where we are right now, right around 7,500, that's fine. Where does the pullback happen? How much of this move do we hold? Okay? We need to hold the majority of this move for as long as possible. And if it's really strong, if this really is the real deal, we might get a continuation move. We might hold and get another continuation pattern, and I would look for somewhere in the 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. timeline, either 3 to 4 a.m. or 6 to 9 a.m. That looks to be when the whales are flooding the market with the move. They're either buying it or they're selling it. And this is exactly how we came out of the downtrend back in April. It started with a massive green bar. In fact, I think it was there was an hour timeline, and I think in that 1 hour, trading view is lagging right now, sorry. In that 1 hour, it was the most volume in BTC in history, coming off of that March bottom into April. It's right here, okay? This marked the end. Now, it wasn't off of the direct bottom. No, we bounced along this long-term down uptrend line, right? And we formed, what did we form? A tradable pattern. We were either going to break down, it was going to be the end of the world, or we were going to break up, and there's still something nice up in the sky. And a ton of volume came in. At what time? Look down at the bottom of the screen, right around 7 a.m. That's when you want to be looking. All of the big decisions in my opinion, the institutional investors are happening at the 3 o'clock hour and sometime between the 6 and 9 o'clock hour. The rest of the day, your guess is as good as mine. The big money is making moves at the same time, and it happened time again. That was the first move. Look at this, 3 o'clock. We got a continuation move at 3 o'clock. There was another technical buy, but a lot of money had to come in once again for that to move, okay? And we saw it again and again and again and again. Look right here, 3 o'clock again, 6, 7 o'clock again, okay? All the major volume and continuation happened during those hours. Look at this one right here. What's this? It was actually at night, but we actually had a technical move. And if you want to make a guess, that's 9 o'clock, guys. It's 9 o'clock Eastern. That's Asia. Big Asia whale came in, also set up perfectly for them. They were able to pump it and actually take profits. And even on the next move, this is right when Eastern time zone, when we wake up, when we turn our machines on to make a trade, look at that setup. Perfect. So we're either getting a setup for Asia or we're getting a setup for New York, and it's happening time and time again. So that's something I want everyone to keep an eye on. It's something that I've been watching, and we'll see if that pattern continues. But right now, again, historic performance is not indicative of future returns. I butchered that, but remember that. Just because we did something similar last month or last year doesn't mean we're going to do it this year. Like, just because Bitcoin went up from 1,000 to 20,000, for example, last year, doesn't mean we're going to go from 7,000 to 70,000 this year, okay? Could happen. It's cryptos, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So remember, back in March when we were busting out the bottom, we kind of didn't go anywhere for several days, right? And look, on the grand scheme of things, we haven't gone anywhere for several days. We have stopped our motion to the downside, but we haven't really proven ourselves yet. We were oversold. We got to bounce. Everything is amazing. Everything is green out there. It's very difficult to find anything that's red. I mean, just looking at the majors, yeah, everything is up. Okay? That's what you expect. People wanted to buy. Bitcoin private. John McAfee's pick for 200 is the only one that's not doing very well. Sorry, John. Golem and your other pick is doing really good. Okay? So there was blood in the streets yesterday. It got worse. And now it's totally the opposite today. Totally bearish to totally bullish. And it's definitely a day to take notice. This bar takes out a couple days and just gets back up here, and now we're in this downtrend line that I am drawing. Doesn't mean it exists. It's just something that I'm watching, and we can obviously tell that we're seeing some selling and some resistance up here, and we're getting it again. So what I want to see us hold the majority of this move, maybe 73.50 to 7,500. I'd like us to flag up here, which a flag is just a triangle It's a consolidation pattern, okay? I'd like us to consolidate our prices and stay in this range. That would be extremely healthy if we did that for several hours. Blows off our overbought RSIs, okay? Gets our MACD down a little bit and gets the bulls ready for another pump higher, because we're going to need some help. We might need a day or two to come back to 73.50 to take profits and get ready so that we can try and get and mess with the 7600 to the 7800 and mess with this downtrend of more of a longer term timeline. So it's little fractals in the pattern, okay? Because this downtrend has been gone from, when we put the top in near 10,000, May 5th, May 9th-ish, okay? May 9th, May 5th. We've been in a downtrend for several weeks now. It's 20 days. And really, we're watching this line. And I mean, it's a zone, you know, it's not like, oh, it came up above that line by $2. It's a buy. It's a zone, and it's something to take note of, okay? That's why we have it. It's just something to watch. And when we look at resistance, support and resistance line, I mean, we've got one at 7,800. We got one at 7,900. We're not out of the woods at all, guys. We've got psychological resistance at 8,000. I mean, that's probably, if we get a bounce, that's going to be tough. And then 8,400, this area is going to be tough. Ultimately, we're not out of the woods. So do we get a day two? We could get a day two. I think it would be phenomenally bullish if we did. You know, it doesn't all happen in one day. Now, the fact we got a $500 move in one day and Bitcoin, fantastic, and the rest of the market followed. And I'm trying to make this video a little shorter today because I know a lot of them have been running long. So I just want to quickly cover some of the other ones. Litecoin had an incredible move off the bottom. I mean, it pretty much touched its prior low, like 110, 109. You had only a little bit of room, and it actually bounced quicker than Bitcoin, and just it's actually in a more bullish stance than Bitcoin right now. But Litecoin still has a lot to prove. It needs to hold its breakout. It needs to hold this 115. It needs to hold 118, and look for a trade down. Look for a trade back down a couple dollars. Don't let it scare your panties off. And maybe it's going to be a couple dollars where it gets bought near that 116, and then we have a nice left head right, nice several day bottoming pattern to get us back up to 136, 140. We can do that. If we can flag up there, maybe retrace down to 130 again, then we're off to the races, guys. Okay. Bitcoin Cash probably had the biggest bounce out of all of them. This thing, I'm long Bitcoin Cash, okay, and I was in the red quite a bit because I bought in the mid 900s, all right. The last day or so hurt, and I thought about rotating into Litecoin, taking the loss, getting into something else, and I held it. And I'm now okay again. We went down into the mid 8s. Remember, we were talking about it could go as low as 750 if it wanted to. It could go into the 8s, and it would still be extremely bullish. This thing bounced $140 in a few hours. Not buy some of this when it goes down. And where did it bounce? It bounced exactly off of what we were looking at. I mean, I think that was a prior low. It dipped before. That's where this line comes in. It was a prior low. Again, this line is wherever you draw it. I mean, you could have drawn this several different ways. It's just where is the market going to find it? I thought it was going to be here. Nope. Now, I guess you could draw it here. So that line doesn't really mean anything. It's just there as a visual reference. So take that for what it's worth. On the daily, it's still a red bar. On the daily for Bcash, we're still at oversold. MACD's not crossing yet. Stochastics are trying to curl up. There's a lot of downward momentum, guys, from 1800, 1900 all the way down here. It's going to take several days for all the technicals to curl up. And if we do get a curl up, we will break out of that downtrend, and it will be a very nice bounce several $100s worth. But we're not out of the woods yet. Again, this is the 4 hour. And look, we're already overbought on stochastic. We're reaching overbought on RSI. We need a couple hours. Bitcoin Cash went down, reversed, is now a buy on high volume, but it's not out of the woods yet. It's got a major downtrend that it's working to deal with. We need more volume. We need some consolidation and some volume to break out of here. And it's got the juice to really fly if it wants to. Again, disclosure, I am long down here. And it's a long-term hold, guys. It's not a trade. Ethereum, in my opinion, got slaughtered the last few days. I think along with Zcash, they really gave up on the Ethereum hold. I feel like it was way overdone. I'm long Ethereum. I've been holding it for a while. It's a long-term hold as well. I'm trying to hold it as long as I can. Look where it's coming back up. It's coming right back up to where it failed. So you could say that this is resistance now. We have to see how it manages the resistance up here. Do we just fail and we come back down and we do squiggly Bart Simpson head and just have a bear flag for the next couple of days? That's not good. That would still be a bear flag, okay? We need to come down a little bit. If we come down, we need to hold higher, go sideways, and get enough to have another trade set up, to get enough short-time traders in and investors to buy the dip. If we see real institutional money come in after it consolidates and comes in a little bit, that is your buy signal. If you go and see the top 50 holders of the Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin go in and start adding large amounts when we come here and then start to move up, that is your macro buy signal. That's the whales buying. That's saying, this is my entry I'm adding here. It's done going down. So keep an eye on the BitInfo rich list. It helps a lot. So everything's bouncing. I mean, this is what all the charts are. Okay. So I think Ethereum had more of the bullish sentiment until it really, it was holding really well until 7 days ago on May 22nd. And then if you were long, a momentum long, you had to get out. And that's why when it broke this flag to the downside instead of the upside, it could have done either one and went down. That was your out. That was your stop if you were long here. If you were a short-term trader to a couple week swing trader, you had to get out there. That's why we saw the volume. That's why the dump happened. And then we bear flagged, and then we broke down again. You had to get out. And now we're trying to reverse, and we came right into support down here, right from the prior breakout. And again, on Ethereum, that's still a very bullish pattern. If we come up here, this could be a wedge. We could go in for another 8 weeks where we stay in this range. And then if we break out to the upside, that's huge, very big. And I mean, I would be long versus the low down here at 366. If we break this low that we made back in early April, the market is definitely different, and you need to take notice. This is not financial advice. This is nearly my opinion. Take this as full entertainment and for my thoughts and views on the market. Now, something that did happen that we were looking at yesterday was Golem real quick. Remember we were watching this trend line. I said if we got above there, a lot of technical traders are going to be watching that. That's not me making shit up. That's what technical traders and algos are looking for. Getting above there. And look, they bottom fished, big volume, big whales were coming in. They stopped the descent. And as soon as we got above this downtrend line on the 4 hour, I'm going to back it up and let you see big volume. And we got a move from 44 cents. I think it went to 55 cents at one point. And it's actually doing okay. And you know what? Golem might come in. Golem might come in 3 or 4 cents right here. It's a smaller coin. It's not going to be Bitcoin that might hold up within $100. Golem might come in. Or it could stay high and tight, which means it's going higher much faster. But we shall see. If you back it out on the 4 hour, this is the downtrend line we were watching. We finally got a break above it with volume. MACD cross, RSI great, stochastics are showing good. Now, it's a big move. It's definitely a 4-hour. It wasn't as oversold as the rest of the market. We need to see how this holds up. If we get another day, if this thing just goes straight up, I'd be very cautious. It's crypto. It could go straight up, but just be very cautious. If we get a big spike, I mean, I'm trying to hold goal until the end of the year. It's going to be difficult for me not to take a trade, given I got in down here. So we'll see. But it's doing exactly what we wanted to do. It's doing good. John McAfee actually is doing okay right here. Zcash, we were talking about Zcash real quick. It got annihilated last night. Okay, they just gave up the ghost. I was watching this trend line from before. It was one of the things that was holding. Okay, we found support here, and it finally gave up the ghost 2 days ago, and then it bear flagged again. It was holding the prior breakout down here, and it just gave up. I mean, this was the panic, all out, sell everything, jump off the top of the building, blood pressure high, panic sell. Everything went out, 10, 20% right here. Of course, we're going to see a reflex move up. We went down below the previous low and came right back up. That was a buy right here. Down right here, buy. 228. Your stop should be about 215 probably. So if you're still in and you made that trade, great job. Zcash is looking great right now on high volume, and it's flagging nicely. Stellar, another one of my favorites. Didn't move. You could say it didn't move too much, but it still moved 4 cents, which is 20%. Okay. It's flagging nicely. It's consolidating nicely. It is coming up to a resistance line. This is another one that really gave up the ghost in the last day. Here's a downtrend line I've been watching. Very rudimentary, guys. Just visual only here. I would expect to move back up to that line right there. Okay, that's what I'm watching. In the next couple of days, next week or so, I would expect to move back up to 33 cents. And I am long Stellar. One that was putting out to the wood shop and left for dead was actually Cardano. I actually traded out of my Cardano. I took a loss on Cardano because it just was the weakest out of all of them. And because of that, I had been wanting to get into some Cardano. I was not in Cardano back here. And what a trade that was. I mean, everything went up during that time. Everything went up today. So whatever you had, good job if you were still holding. But I felt Cardano was, it's up 3 cents. Okay. It's up 18%. On here it says 18%, but that timeline is a little misleading. It's looking good. It broke that downtrend. It's got big volume. MACD cross. It probably has, at this point, it needs to get above 21 as some resistance, and then 23. And maybe we get an extension move tomorrow along with the rest of the market. Maybe we see Cardano go up to 23, and then it needs to hold this area as prior resistance becomes support. It needs to prove that it can hold that, or at least in this range for the next couple days, get in a bottoming pattern. And again, this isn't a one-day thing, guys. It's going to take several days, possibly a week or two, to really bang out this bottom in a healthy way to give us a chance to run up. EOS, we've got that. We got all that news coming out with EOS, right? What the hell is going on with EOS? What is going on with EOS? I guess this pitch is still kind of okay, actually. So we'll see if this plays out. EOS has got a launch. Did it get delayed? I mean, check out, do your own research. I think it was June 1st. They found some major bugs, and they said they fixed the bugs. If you are a Cliff High WebBot supporter, I highly recommend checking out Cliff High Half Past Humans reports. He said EOS was going to do really well this year, but was going to get stopped by massive bugs. And he said this way before this move, guys. Way before this move. And now it was a really nice move up. And that web report went out back when EOS was $6, okay, $5, and it went up 500%, 400%. And he said it was going to do well, but it was going to be hit by bugs. And now we're hearing that there's massive bugs involved. Bad bugs. So we'll see. They got a lot of good people working on it. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But at this time, it's risky. Technically speaking, again, it bounced with everything else. It's not. I own a very small amount, and I'm pretty much at my break even right now. I've been holding it for a while. It's got to break through this, where it is right now, pretty much where it found resistance. It's got to break through. Next resistance is 14-ish. Next one is 15-ish. And then if we get above 15.10, it's all air. It's all air for another $3 or $4. So that would be, I think a healthy thing would be if we could get up to 15.10, mutter along there for a couple days. Now we have a accumulation bottom, if you will, continuation pattern that could take us up to much higher. Again, I have a very small amount of EOS, nothing to write home about. Let me see here. We actually got a bounce in Monero. Again, Monero was pretty much left for dead. It was not doing well at all. I mean, they really let it go. And at one point, there was a massive spike with buy volume today, and they sold it hard. Here it is right here. They sold it hard. Nothing else came off this hard. Now, it's been working the rest of the day to try and get back up. It's still okay. The dip was bought. But that tells me there were a lot of people that were waiting to get the hell out of Monero. We'll see if that plays out to anything more. Again, we didn't see that with... Now, again, Bitcoin Private didn't act very well today. If you look at privacy coins, I will see if I can find Verge. Zcash had a pullback, but is acting better than Monero on higher volume. So remember that. What is it? XVG? Is that what it is? God. Verge got just taken out and shot in the last couple of days. Yeah, I mean it performed pretty damn well. I mean it had a nice bounce, but not a lot of buy volume compared to the sell volume. There's been some bad news with Verge. It still remains to be seen. Remember, this thing came from like 1/1000th of a penny, and then it went up to 15 cents or something like that. Like, you could say the moon's already happened. It's going to take a lot, and I think it's out of the limelight for right now. Let's look at Golem versus BTC. So even though BTC went up a lot, look at Golem's outperformance. Look at it versus Ethereum. Tremendous outperformance, even in the downtrend, which we were looking at. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. I want to do a brief overview. Let's take a look at QTUM real quick. That was a favorite. That's coming a lot. Decent pattern. It needs to calm down a little bit. Huge volume came in. I mean, keep QTUM on the radar. We can hang out here for a couple days and bang out a bull flag wedge up here between 13.50 and then get a break. We already broke above this downtrend wedge. I think QTUM's going to see much higher prices. I do not own any QTUM right now, but let's get on the 4 hour, see if we can see something else. We could see a 10 to 15% extension. Maybe we get a move up to here, possibly move up to here. So next couple days, you might be able to see QTUM go 14.50 to 15.50, and then you look for a retrace down to 14 that you want to buy. If you weren't in this, you weren't in any of this, look for a retrace to buy and to start a position in, and then add on the momentum breakout. And we'll keep that on the list to watch. Another one that moved big time was 0x. 0x, I believe, is how these decentralized exchanges are being written. It's like the code. I want to do a write-up on them because I'm not sure of the economics of actually holding the coin. But a long-term vision, this is one of the favorites to be in. And it moved a lot. I think this was one of the best performers. It was up like 30% on this move up. So keep an eye on ZRX. Keep that on your watch list. Again, very, very tradable if you went into the short-term time. If you were on, again, this is US dollars, so you would have to be looking at ETH or BTC or maybe one of the other pairs, or maybe there's a Korean pair, I'm not sure. But if you were at your computer back last night, maybe you tried here and you put a stop loss as soon as it reversed and you saw this big volume bar come in, and then you saw it hold and flag here. That was a long entry. If you didn't buy in this little dip on the fear on this oversold RSI, which was a buy, you could have gone in a little bit here, nibbled, added here on the momentum. You got a nice little trade right there. I mean, depending on how much you were trading with, you made 3 cents all the way up to, that's a 4 cents. It's like 4 or 5% in less than an hour. That's a hell of a trade. If you took some off, you could have held versus the low of the day where you entered, and you got another perfect technical buy setup right here when it retraced and broke right here. You could have re-entered here, added some momentum breakout, and then you got a nice move. All right, guys, that was 7 cents right there. Took a little profits, held some. Maybe you're still in 50%, maybe still in 50%. You got another, you could tell it's a continuation pattern. It's holding higher. It's holding the previous breakout. Now support. Really bullish, really bullish. You had plenty of time all night. Then it set up again. This would have been, this actually looks like one of the more bullish charts again. This really is setting up to be so many day trades in here. I'm going to have to start watching this one a lot closer. 110. As soon as it took out the higher day, you could have added again. So now you're pretty much all playing with house's money. When you bought in here, a little position, added here on the breakout, still holding, maybe took some off, added here on the breakout. So now you've made 5-6%. You're still in a small position. Momentum breakout right here on the bull flag. Boom. You're now in, say if you were in 1% of your portfolio, now you could be in 2% of your portfolio. And you just, that's pretty much a home run in a day trade, okay? You could just take trades out, up your stops. And now it flagged, moved higher, and is holding higher again on volume. Keep an eye on ZRX. And I said I wanted to try and keep this video short, and it's 38 minutes already long, so I apologize, but I wanted to cover the bounce today. I wanted to cover some of the things I saw. I think we did that. So remember, I still have a lot to prove. We want to see it go sideways, consolidate, show that it can hold up here, hold higher, really show that it can hold higher and that this isn't BS. If we hold higher for the next 2 days and we get another volume burst at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., or 7 to 9 a.m., you know that we have a chance to at least go back up to 7,800. But even then, we're not out of the woods, guys. We could go up to 8,000 and not be out of the woods. Because right now, that was the previous resistance. That was support. We broke support here. It's now resistance again. We are probably going to bang up against 8,000 psychological and retrace somewhere down to 7,500 where we're trying to break out again. That to me is the roadmap. That I think is the trade. We have the beginnings of a bounce. We have the beginnings of hope. At least we can say that it's not dead. But again, we did say that if we were going to break down on this long-term downtrend, we couldn't do it on the first try because we were already way oversold. So what did I say? I said we probably would need a bounce 74, 7,500-ish, get rejected, and then with volume crash. That's still on the table, guys. That is still on the table, and be on the lookout. Again, this is Toxic Crypto. I hope you had a wonderful day and even a better day when you woke up and looked at your blockfolio. I know I did. Hodl on, be good, live long and prosper. Toxic signing out.